Yes. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Minerva Podcast episode 72. There we go.
72.
Yay.
How are we? How is this just going?
That's like a lot.
That's like a lot.
It's like I don't know. It's divisible by 8.
The counter in the upper right is the only way I keep track.
Same. Same.
Okay.
I have
I
no
forget
idea.
every week.
Hop on over to the channel, which is yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I can watch chat. Woohoo. Okay.
Woohoo.
This is the
What,
harshest sleep
DuckTales?
I think I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 hours I think, and then 3 hours.
That's rough, actually.
Yeah, I woke up at 5 p.m. yesterday, then napped at like 10 or 11 p.m. until midnight, and then slept at 11:30, needing a melatonin to get down, of course, because, you know, well rested and all. And
You're
then
taking
barely
the
got 3 hours
melatonin
before
now
the show.
and getting some rest.
So I'm
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that why you messaged me at like 3 o'clock in the morning asking me if I wanted to go to McDonald's?
The regular menu wasn't even open.
Aw.
What?
Yeah,
That's
at 3 a.m.
not fair. I don't know. I always thought McDonald's was open like 24/7. That was just the thing they did.
They are, but
location
I think he's saying it's only breakfast at 3 a.m.
Oh.
No,
Well, if you want-
we have the 2 nearest McDonald's close.
Oh.
We have one that's 24/7. Yeah, I was like, how are you not? I thought that was like a McDonald's thing. No, it's a locational thing. They don't have to be open.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
like, what the fuck? How rude. How are you not standing there bored for the entire evening just so that I can get a burger?
Yeah, it's so unfair.
You bastards.
Because I always say, whenever we talk about it, like, we have McDonald's. If I step out of the front door, it is a 5-minute drive to be at McDonald's. So the fact that that's closed and we have to go 10 minutes to the next one. Yeah. So I'm
a long time.
I decided that sleeping 3 hours before was the best case because I want to go to the mall. I still do. I want to just catch Pokemon and walk around and get exercise or whatever. But I figured being awake for 12 hours on 2 hours of sleep and going out and walking for 3 hours right before the show was probably a bad idea, especially because there's a 20-minute drive before and after that. And I don't think that's safe.
Well, the downside to that was, for me, the same kind of situation where I failed at sleep multiple times throughout the night, and then knowing I had to podcast, and then I'm going straight into work from here. So, yay. But, yeah.
I'm glad I wasn't scheduled for overtime.
Yet again.
It almost was a thing.
It is yet again a thing for me today, and I don't understand it. But it thankfully, at least, I'm working with a coworker that I talk to him, and every time, basically, he's been like, yeah, it's fine if you show up at 5 instead of 4.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, shit. All right, thanks. Instead of getting out at 9, I'm staying until 10. That's I just shifted it an hour.
Yeah. This doesn't sound like it'd be a problem for anyone.
I don't have a paying job, but my job just got harder. So I'm a stay-at-home mom, right? And I think I'm just like, I think my title at this point just needs to be a caretaker. My grandma just moved.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we're just loading up now.
Yeah.
So when is she going to be on the podcast?
You want my 73-year-old Nani to be on the podcast with us? I'm sure she'd love it. I'll set her up on my husband's computer. We'll give her a guest spot. She's gonna be like, "What are you guys talking about?" And then you guys are gonna be horrified at the way I talk to her.
Old people are awesome. They've been through some shit. They know what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is. I don't know. This is the furthest off the deep end I've been in a while. This is It's weird. It's fun when I walk away though, because I can still hear you guys like all the way out at the bar, which is great.
Yeah.
Not well, but well enough. And
Yeah.
I've heard
Well
six
enough to
of-
hear if we're talking shit or not.
Yeah, I gotta keep tabs on you guys. See, this hair is just gonna drive me nuts. Cause I showered. Cause again, weird hours. Like I don't even think I formally brushed my teeth, cause I do that at the end of the night. But I never properly sat down to like, okay, I'm going to bed now. So that just didn't happen. I am going to brush extra good next time, Chad. Don't worry, I'm clean about that, and it's driving me nuts more than
You know what?
can-
You shower a lot, right?
at
Put
least
a
once a day.
toothbrush in the shower.
No, that's too much.
Haven't you ever seen like that 4-in-1 shampoo? It's also toothpaste. That
Oh,
stuff's pretty
stop!
good.
Ew.
Shampoo, conditioner, body wash, and
Gross.
toothpaste.
No.
It's also a topping for pie. So.
We are
Oh.
5 minutes in and you're already grossing me out.
I'm sorry. That's it's not that gross. Well, maybe it's a little gross. Okay, that's
Not
fine.
little
that
gross.
gross.
Don't eat
That's
soap, kids.
that's a fake product, right? That's not
Yeah,
something
that's
anybody
not
ever
real.
needed
That's
combined.
not a real thing.
It's not real and probably not edible if it was. So
Yeah.
See, I always
Yeah.
feel dumb for asking that stuff, but chat, every single time, I tell you, for every time I get made fun of for not knowing something, the thing that I would have been made fun of is actually fake. So like, every time I get faked out, I never know anymore. I just don't
because
know.
you have to like follow along with people and their intent behind their sarcasm and stuff, and sometimes that's hard to tell. And I'm not also that good at being sarcastic, so
This used to bother me as a kid because I get made fun of for stuff that was just as ridiculous as a thing that was real, like the last time. And it even got harder as an adult, where I don't even know anymore. Especially since
yeah.
there's so many crazy products nowadays. If there was a 4-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, and toothpaste, you know what? Wouldn't even
wanna
shock me
know-
anymore.
Yeah.
That wouldn't
I-
even shock me.
I didn't know that narwhals were real until I was an adult.
There you
Because I was like, there's no
they're-
way this
But
fucking
they're swimming in the ocean,
sea lion unicorn exists.
causing a
Like,
commotion.
Yeah.
what?
But they're swimming in the ocean, causing a commotion.
Yeah, I didn't know they were fucking real. I thought they were like unicorns. Everybody talked about them. There were like books about them, but
They look like
they're
unicorns.
fucking unicorns. They're fucking unicorns. They're manatees with fucking big ass horns. They're sea unicorns. Didn't know they were real until I went to an aquarium and they had a
Oh.
fucking
Yeah.
skeleton, and I was like,
What the fuck is
this
that?
is some fantasy
I-
shit.
I'd
Yeah.
hate to be that guy that works at the aquarium that swims in there every day and staples the horn onto the manatee.
Yeah. It's probably as
It
difficult
was
as a
just a
job that
skeleton.
like attaches the antlers to a rabbits and stuff.
If you ever get the chance to go to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, it's really nice.
I'd love to check it out. I love aquariums. On my
aquarium.
honeymoon, we went to go see I think it was in Jamaica or one of the Key Islands or something. But yeah, there was like a whole like swarm or whatever the term is for a large group of manta rays or something like that. Were they manta rays or stingrays? I'm not sure. But yeah, they were
think
super
swarm.
fun. Yeah, they were super fun just to go into like the shallow water, and you could like hang out with them and like feed them little squids and stuff, and it was pretty fun.
I feel like I
think
skipped
I
that
have an old
opportunity
video.
every single time because there is a SeaWorld at the mall, and I haven't gone down
Yeah.
to that in a long time. I was brought there as
I
a
would
kid.
totally do that, depending on how expensive it is.
Yeah,
It's way more fun in the
I'm
wild.
wary of aquariums that are in the middle of the United States.
Yeah.
Having only lived on coasts, I'm wary.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
SeaWorld
worry,
doesn't have
but-
the best business practices at
I
all,
went to the aquarium.
wouldn't
in
go to
Myrtle
that one.
Beach.
but
Actually, on my honeymoon. Now that I think about it,
I'm really split about SeaWorld because they do kind of have some shitty practices when it comes to the animals, but they do so much rehabilitation work and like helping with marine animals that wash up and like putting them back
yeah.
as well. So that's why their animals are always like, oh, they're bred in captivity because they get like a crippled whale and then they breed it and then it's just like that's
Yeah.
a thing. but they also like if some sort of sea mammal or animal in general washes up on the shore, they're the ones funding going out there and like
Yeah. And I mean, that sort of work
that's
is
why it's like
important. But like, I don't know. I don't know. I think that they're like pens for their large
yeah.
aquarium.
All I know is they
Too
had some
small.
cool stuff there when I was a kid, and you can see I think they're stingrays, but they wouldn't have them in the petting area if they were actually dangerous. But I don't know. They're swimming around. That's all I know. And I spin the Pokestop every single time we walk by.
I had
Yeah.
a dolphin wave at me once.
Oh.
My brother was bit by a dolphin.
Yeah, the ins and
I believe
outs of
it.
the specific
Dolphins-
company, I don't know, but it's exactly an aquarium type place that I walk by a lot, and I just never stop in. And probably because of what Sig said, where it's not like you can just go in and be curious. It's probably more than $40 a head, and I'm like, that's not that interesting. I'm guessing. I'd have to really look it up.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
But
That's
yeah,
like
I was
there's an escape room we walk by that's just the same thing. $40 per person, recommended group size of like 6, and I'm like, oh.
Better
I
be
want to
a
tell you my
good
dolphin
escape
story.
room.
I think it is.
First, I will never ever
before she
swim
says it-
with
no, I'm kidding.
dolphins because they'll rape people. Not
Oh,
all
yeah,
of them,
they're-
25.
but they're.
Well, you gotta be really
Anyways.
lucky. It's only like 14 people a year.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Please continue, Rosa.
No.
Rosa, what were you saying
No.
before it was rudely interrupted?
The
Hey, with
aquarium
odds
is
like that,
$25 a head.
if a dolphin chose me, I'm going to the lottery. Convenience store, lottery ticket, next place I go.
Yeah, after you recover from their massive cock.
I can train for
Nope. All right. Moving on. The aquarium is $25 a head at the door. 20% off if you order
That's not so
online
bad.
tickets.
Oh, you spend more than that on food at the mall. So go in and see some sea stuff. See stuff. I don't know anymore.
Something like that.
The aquarium at Myrtle Beach had a touch tank out at the front area, which just them calling it a touch tank was just kind of weird and creepy anyway.
It's not weird and creepy. It's a tank full of you can touch the animals. It's exactly that.
Okay.
It's a petting zoo, but full of water.
The older I've gotten, the more overused the word creepy has gotten. Like little things that aren't that weird get a little.
Have you ever touched a sea anemone?
I can't even picture that. I remember petting the
weird.
stingray as a kid. Very soft.
Clark tried to pick it up.
I can imagine.
It's yeah. But yeah, the wife and I did that back when we were on our honeymoon. We went to a number of different places right
Somebody
there.
asked what a
Myrtle Beach
honeymoon is.
tourist thing.
Did we answer
Oh,
that?
it's like a little vacation type deal after you get married normally, but it really can happen anytime.
You just
After
call it
you're
a
married.
honeymoon.
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
just-
you going on
yeah.
vacation with your spouse.
With your
That's
honeymoon.
basically it.
Generally
Yeah.
fresh after the wedding, and
Yeah, but it's kind of used so loosely now. People will be like, "Oh, we're going on a late honeymoon. You've been married for like 4 years."
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Neat.
Okay.
one of you gifted subs from Adriel.
Great job.
Doing this to me during a podcast. Oh, it's Aphid.
Go for it.
That settles it.
At first, I thought,
You gonna read them off
No,
real quick?
not during the podcast. He knows the drill.
mhm.
He knows the drill. That's
Holy
it's
crap.
not his first rodeo. Aphid once
Congrats
cheered
to all the subscriptions.
like a ridiculous amount before we were even live once. I'll never forget that. He was super chatting before we started. I'm like, what are you even live?
Damn.
I don't know. Honeymoon. When I got old enough to realize what generally happens during a honeymoon, I was like, wow, that is a pretty loosely thrown around term. Because typically, chat, freshly married couples, sightseeing, there might be time for that later. I don't know. Depends on the
Why
couple.
people spend so much money on honeymoons? You're gonna go on your honeymoon and so a honeymoon is basically a vacation with a shit ton of banging.
Yeah, pretty much.
So why would you spend so much money to go on this tropical vacation with scuba diving, and you're only leaving your room 3 hours a day?
We went on a cruise. It was actually pretty fun. We went to this place in Mexico and this place in Jamaica and the
See,
Grand
a cruise
Cayman Islands.
makes sense to
That was
me
fun.
because you're in the middle of the sea 90% of the time, and then you go to port for a few hours or a day. So it works out.
And they had so much food there. It was so good.
I'm glad I didn't totally get the wrong impression, because that's what
exactly
I've always understood a honeymoon to be.
Yeah, it's a vacation with lots of banging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I said that I was going on a delayed honeymoon with my husband, you'd be like, "You mean a vacation?" I'd be like, "No, a honeymoon." And you'd be like,
Okay.
"Cool, I'll message you. Got it."
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But that's the tradition, and it's it's always
I
that
don't know. I
tongue-in-cheek
break
thing
traditions.
where sex and nudity is so frowned upon in our regular society, yet things like that are so casually, terms like that are just so casually thrown around. It's
yeah.
Well, I mean, that term has been around since the time when people
Yeah.
actually waited for marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure people even do that anymore.
Totally.
I mean, still honeymoon phase is a term for a fresh relationship or
Correct.
even a fresh job even, but it's just kind of colloquially known as a new relationship in any sort of way.
What about a cloaca?
It's not what
Jeffy,
it says. You go in.
have you guys ever watched the Long Shot?
Yeah.
It's a Seth Rogen movie about dating a girl that becomes the president. It's funny as hell. I actually recommend it, but I guess this is a spoiler, but it's too much of a comedy for you to really take it seriously to the extent where a spoiler is even possible. It's funny for its merits other than its quite shaky plot, but
yeah,
essentially a masturbation video is used as blackmail, and I'm like, that counts nowadays? Does that really count? And even in the movies, everybody does it. You all do it.
yes. But
I'm
if you
how
have
is
your
this...
platform running against something like that, then that kind of means you're a fucking hypocrite.
Yeah.
I actually, to get to sleep, I watched a video on the oversimplified video on prohibition and how that somehow went through and everything leading up to it, even though basically nobody respected it, and there was even tales of the president just handing it out to his staff while alcohol was illegal, and how nobody respected that rule, or basically nobody.
I mean, if you kind of look into it as kind of just a way that the police at the time could fuck with poor people.
Yep.
So that's what it ended up really
just
ended
like
up
current
being.
drug laws.
Yeah. So history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme.
So I live in California. So marijuana is 100% legal medically and recreationally as long as you're over 21.
Yeah.
So the first thing we did when I picked my nanny up from the airport on Wednesday is we went to a really nice pot shop. It looks like a McDonald's. It's got electronic displays with the menu.
Wait.
And
Did it look
got
like a nice McDonald's? Or...
Like a nice one.
Okay.
It's super clean. And
there's two different types of McDonald's.
They've got display cases, but instead of cookies, well, they had cookies, but
yeah,
they had everything. So I took my nanny there, and I will never stop giggling that my nanny bought my my pot cartridge for my for my vape pen thing.
That's
I don't
funny.
know what to call it, but yeah.
On our trip to Texas, we stopped, I think in Oklahoma, and we didn't stop at it, but we did see a pot shop on the way, and we're like, hey, that's not legal yet in Minnesota. All right.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it
not in
illegal
Texas either. No, very
That
much
was
not.
a road trip was a nice little. I'm not trying to get political, but it was a nice little highlight to the stupidity of some of the state laws sometimes. 'Cause
Yes.
we're driving through
Yeah.
pot's illegal, pot's illegal. Oh, pot's legal, pot's illegal again. I'm like, what the?
They've
Yeah.
been doing that for years with fireworks and alcohol. Like,
yeah.
I don't understand those.
It was just a first-hand experience of literally crossing state borders. Yeah, and it's illegal. Like if we bought something
I feel
in
like
that
it's
shop,
super ridiculous.
it would have been illegal.
I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't mean to get political either. I feel like it shouldn't be political. The fact that marijuana in general is
Everything's
just
political.
so controversial. I didn't try it for the first time until I was 28. And I'm from California, so like it was regularly available even before it was legal.
Yeah.
And because I was just like, drugs are bad. And I mean, and hard drugs are bad. But so I tried it for the first time. I was at TwitchCon in San Jose in 2018, and I tried it for the first time. And I have severe anxiety. Like we've joked and like touched on it before. I have like a lot of mental illness going on. I tried it for the first time, and it was like fucking magic. I wasn't on any meds at the time, so I was like extra off the rails. I smoked for the first time because I was hanging out with my friends that were like huge potheads, and they're like, just try it. And so peer pressure, I gave in at 28. And I'm glad I did, because it was like fucking magic. I didn't have a single panic attack that entire convention. And so I got like a THC CBD 1-to-1. And so like it helped with my physical pain because I have like, you know, joint pain and yada, 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 because I'm falling apart. I'm a mess. We know this. And it was like fucking magic. And I was like, why is this not legal everywhere? Because I'm on so many like hard medications to deal with my illnesses.
Yeah.
When I could be on like maybe one pill and then just like smoke once a day, eat a cookie, like I could manage my illnesses with something that's not killing my liver, not killing my kidneys, you know, like why?
I thought it was funny that the California rules over 21 too, because especially growing up in a high school where like most kids did it. I mean, it wasn't even like I felt like an outcast as a non-smoker. Like your social life is genuinely inhibited by not being a smoker.
I hung out with
at least
all
in
the
my
potheads.
in my growing up, like your social options were limited if you didn't go and smoke with people. Like it was
Why
unbelievable.
didn't you just hang out with them?
Because that's just it was weird. That was like the invitation.
okay.
It wasn't do you want to hang out? It's do you want to go smoke? And I'm like,
When I was
oh.
in the army, like
Yeah,
everyone
no. in
in the National Guard smokes all the time. So it's like if you want to hang out with your friends, you're gonna have to be around smokers. So
And
Like
I've gotten
that
that
kind of
reaction a lot. They're like, "Oh, do you smoke?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Oh." And you can see that lip bite, like, "Oh."
yeah,
Cigarettes are gross. You know, I don't even like when like the smell or the smoke of when people are smoking like grass, like the bud, like the smoking marijuana. Like I'm not a fan. So I have my like little pen cartridge pen thing.
Yeah, if you were a fan, the smell wouldn't even get near you. You'd be just blowing it away all the time.
And it becomes a thing where to become the non-smoker in the group, now I get to I hate the smell of it and everything. I'm really not a fan. So now I get to be around that, and everybody around me is getting all stupid while I'm it doesn't work out. But the over 21 thing is funny because it's still gonna, I don't know, I feel like that's half the battle, you know, because those kids are gonna keep doing it.
true.
Just like
But,
drinking.
I mean, it helps regulate it if they set that law instead of it's just blanketly illegal.
Like drinking over 21, that's not stopping anybody. Any
It
kid
is
who's
it's not stopping, but it
mitigates. Yeah.
And the thing is,
I agree with that.
all right.
So Rosa,
Yeah.
you got a new tattoo there, huh?
I did get a new tattoo. Hold on. I have to like back up and like
fancy.
look
That's
at the
cool.
tattoo, not my boobs. I know that's
It's a
in the
pretty
way.
sweet trident.
I know. I'm fucking obsessed. I'm so
sticking
happy.
with the Little Mermaid theme there, huh?
Yes, yeah, I'm actually gonna do a whole Little Mermaid sleeve. I have so much more planned. I was seeing if I liked this artist, and I do. So I was talking to her, and we're gonna fucking do so much more. My husband's about to go on a trip for like a month, and then when he gets back, I'm gonna get more because this should be healed enough that it won't bug me when I get more. I have so much.
It turned out really well.
Yeah.
What are your next plans for it?
So are you familiar with Little Mermaid? Like all the little parts of Little Mermaid?
Definitely
Well,
not.
there's the crab guy, and then
Okay.
there's
So if I
Ursula.
explained it, you wouldn't understand because
No.
it's like different things from.
There's Flounder.
Describe them like
And
as
there's
Pokemon.
Sebastian. And there's King Triton.
Yeah. So I'm
Ursula.
gonna definitely get Flounder and Sebastian, but up here
She means
I'm gonna
Magikarp
get-
and
I'm gonna get when King Triton gets turned into like the little squiggly
Corphish.
thing.
Oh, that would the little the like purple black.
It's his soul
He
or
looks
something.
kind of like a little spermie.
Yes. When he's like inside his crown after he gets turned into the little squiggly, I'm gonna get the crown right here with him poking out of the crayon. Crown.
I see.
Crown.
Crayon. Something like that.
Crown. Yeah. Sig forgot Nemo? What?
I don't know.
But yeah, tattoo. I'm gonna get.
I'm trying to imagine. Little Mermaid. That was one of the suite of movies I saw as a kid, once.
Yeah.
And just never. Yeah, I don't know. All this Disney talk every time reminds me that like, I feel like all the movies got to at least once as a kid, but they were never on replay or anything. We just sort of. I don't know.
Yeah,
Didn't watch
some
that
of
much.
them for us kind of were like the old Disney movies were, and I kind of made me like not enjoy watching movies more than once for like long periods of time. And if I just kind of like see a movie once, I'll have to wait like 10 years before I can see it
Wow.
again.
Like an elephant.
That's crazy. No, we just started a family night in our house that I call D&D because I think it's funny to call it D&D, and it's Disney and Denny's. So we take turns picking out a Disney movie, and then we get takeout. It
It doesn't have to be
And-
Denny's.
It doesn't have
Sometimes
to be
it's
Denny's, but
Domino's.
we try to pick something. Yeah, we try to pick something that starts with a D.
I'm
And
sure this
so,
rule will have to be amended at some point.
At some point, maybe. There's a lot of restaurants out here.
Mickey's.
There's
Or maybe Donald's.
California has
Nick.
an abundance of restaurants, so we'll see. But yeah, and so we each take turn picking a Disney movie, and so because we got to get my kid his Disney education.
Of course.
Yeah,
There's
of course.
there's pictures of little
Mandatory.
squiggly King Triton as reference in the
I
chat
see.
there.
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Yes,
I don't
that is
remember
correct.
any of that.
I feel like
from-
based on the amount
You-
that he talks about Minecraft, he's already behind on schedule with this Disney thing. So I pump those numbers up.
No, not that one. The one in the
Well,
crayon.
that's still the same kind of creature
Yeah,
thing
but
that he gets
but
turned
King
into. But he has a little
Triton
mustache.
has the mustache.
You know what I did though? I did do one Disney thing as a kid that I think was unique. I read a book, and the name of it will be really relevant right now. There's a book series where these kids go into the Disney park after hours, and shit happens. And that's all I got for you. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I don't
Good
remember the
book.
name of it. Does anybody watching recognize that series? Because there's something about Imagineers and how like they visited after hours and like all the animations came to life, and there was all these different
Some
stories.
sort of like Five
regarding-
Nights at Freddy's deal, or
No, it wasn't exactly horror, but it was fantasy, Disney and
Yeah.
deliciousness.
Huh.
That counts. That one works for different restaurants. No, they were really good though. Believe it or not, I think about them all the time. Like anytime you bring up some of these characters, I go back to those books. But I don't remember too much more than that, and it'd be kind of cool. I don't know if they could ever make a movie
Yeah.
about that sort of thing, but it was neat that like after hours, I'm just trying to remember how these kids got in there. but like he was talking to this old Imagineer, as what they're called.
Pair of bolt cutters.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? Let me see. Disney. Let me see. Characters. Yeah. Alive After Dark book. Boom. Just keywords. That's all you need. Bullshit. That's not it, is it? Kingdom Keepers. Was that it? No, it wasn't. Might have been? I don't think so. You know? I never know anymore.
Disney has some strong SEO working against you, so might be difficult to find.
No
It
shit,
couldn't have been that
is.
long ago.
Oh, this is what happened. So
Oh.
he's been appearing in the Disney parks as DHI and a hologram while he's asleep. Then he realizes they're not dreams and they're actually happening. So yeah, he's been going to bed and waking up in the park as a hologram. And I'm like, what?
As a hologram.
Yeah, and there's
Okay.
apparently this
Weird.
technology to like. That's very. So yeah, Kingdom Keepers. Publisher was Disney Hyperion. I didn't know that these
Weird.
were like official Disney books. I mean, I guess they'd have to be, but it's a book.
Yeah,
I
Disney
mean,
doesn't really let you just use their stuff.
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
about them.
So I mean, I didn't know. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really interesting. So that totally answers my question. Like, how do these kids keep getting in the park? But when they're a hologram and they can't actually like get hurt or anything, it really spices up how they interact with the characters that are also coming to life at night through these holograms. I don't know. It's very, very interesting. But it was such a unique twist on Disney that I think about it all the time. That's like, against, I didn't watch the movies. That's like the most exposure I had to some of these characters. So it always comes back to me.
I don't love Disney. No, not me. I don't.
Can anybody doubt that? I'm trying to read chat, but I'm not sure. So yeah, that's
No,
one of those
she's
book
just a
series
crazy
where
person.
if I was a robot and I could just like refresh all the pages like that, I'd love to. I think that'd be a great little reminder, but it's quite a long shot for me to sit down and read those again.
Well, there's something to be said for reading back through an old book that you've read before and, enjoyed. Because I've looked back through old books like Child Thief, and like I remember the basics of the story. I remember reading it. I know what it's about and everything, but to read back through it and stuff from having only read it, I don't know, it had to have been over a decade ago. There's a lot to enjoy actually, and there's a lot that I forgot that happened and stuff. It's like picking up anything that you haven't seen in years. You can go, oh, there's that little tidbit that I enjoyed that I forgot all about,
Mhm.
and things like that.
Yeah.
So
There's there's a lot of stuff like that. That'd be nice to, like I told you about that Mr. Was book. Like
mhm.
that book is stuck with me. He goes back into his old house and goes back 50 years, tries to buy a comic with a quarter. And you're like, this is the worst
Yeah.
counterfeit I've ever seen because the date is 50 years in the future.
Yeah.
That was like, for what was, I think it was said to be like whatever it was, a teens novel or that kind of thing. Like it wasn't even
Young
intended
adult.
for
YA. Yeah.
it wasn't even intended for adults, but I'm like, this totally holds up. I don't know why you'd limit yourself to teens for this
Yeah.
or young adult novels.
Well, I mean, that's your first target audience, but I mean, normally adults write those books, so they can kind of easily relate those type of concepts to it. That's why a lot of young adult / teen shows like Avatar: The Last Airbender are so good, is because they can have a deeper
SpongeBob.
message within bright and shiny colors.
Mhm.
You know.
And you know
SpongeBob.
it messed me up because the book took place in Minnesota. I couldn't tell
Yeah.
if he was trying to. I don't know.
That's
Sorry.
the first type of medium that I've ever heard of taking place in Minnesota. That's weird.
I know that's what freaked me out too, and it took place in Minnesota under the
People go
guise of
there?
like finding these notebooks, and it felt
Yeah.
real. Obviously, it was fiction, but I was like,
Hmm.
they wrote it in a very convincing way.
So, speaking of movies and TV shows that I've watched and would rewatch and everything, there are shows like, for instance, The Walking Dead, that I would absolutely love to forget every bit of that show so that I could watch it again for the first time.
Oh.
Right.
You know what I mean?
thought that was going somewhere completely different.
Yeah,
No,
I-
it did
Oh.
no. Well, the TV's it's one of those shows. It was just so good for so long that I'd love to be able to watch it again, from the
Yeah.
start, and
Mhm.
not know anything about what's going on though. But
Yeah,
that
I
that
get what
actually
you mean.
brings us into the topic that I wrote in the chat earlier about the vampire/zombie movies and shows. Um, I had a conversation with Dad Beast the other night
Uh-oh.
about how it's just so strange to me that in the genre of vampire movies, more often, or vampire media, movies or shows, more often than not, at some point somebody goes, "Oh yeah, they're vampires." They say the word vampire,
Yeah.
and they just go with that. Everybody's just like on board. They're like, "Yeah, okay, vampires, got it." But in the genre of zombies,
hmm
how often they avoid the shit out of that word. They will not say zombie for anything. Like
It's kind
The
of a
Walking
cliche
Dead.
almost.
Yeah, The Walking Dead, they call them everything but fucking zombies.
Yeah.
They call them walkers and shamblers and all kinds of crap, but they never once call them zombies. And it's like, do you people not know the word zombie? What's happening here? you know?
It's one of my wife's favorite
You know,
zombie movies.
I like to
It's in
pretend that it's
Spanish.
more realistic, but if that kind of thing happened, the first word in the headline, zombie. So
Yeah.
I've never thought of that.
But
Yeah.
it's just, I don't get it though. Like the vampire genre does not seem to care. They are not bothered by saying the word vampire in the show. Like Buffy
Yeah.
the Vampire Slayer, if they spent the whole show not using the word vampire, that would drive me batshit insane. I would be
I
so
think that's
angry.
for a reason though.
If you were
Like
batshit insane, you'd be one step
vampire
away
is a
from a
very
vampire.
established thing. Like you have long pointy teeth and you suck blood and turn other things
Mhm.
into vampires. And zombies, I mean, that can be from like some sort of magic demonic ritual, or it could be from a virus, or it could be from
Yeah,
I
they
don't know,
spent
drinking tap water. So yeah.
what was the name of the 28 Days Later?
think so.
In that one they weren't zombies, they were the infected.
Mm.
They had the rage virus.
What did they
It's like,
call him in what was it? The
You
one
got
with Will Smith.
Oh, I know it. Legend. I Am Legend.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, those
What did
weren't
they
even
call
zombies.
Yeah.
Those were like vampires.
I'd call
But
those zombies.
They didn't
They
call
were
them
like
anything
a
specifically.
zombie and a vampire mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't specifically either one. They were kind of a mix of both. Yeah.
Well, I
But,
mean, I would say they're zombies because like they turned the dog into a zombie.
Felt like zombies to me.
But-
yeah.
Yeah. But there's a lot of times when it's just it baffles me to think like they just won't say zombie. Dude, just say it. It's fine.
I mean,
But
I'm
yeah, like
due for
that movie Record. That one's messed up.
I'm due for a good zombie show. I watched Zombieland as a kid, and kind of it's kind of a sillier show, and they do play on that, but
Mhm.
they released like one of the final seasons, and I never watched it because it was one of those things where I binged all the seasons that were available, and then years went by before I thought about it again. Then
Zombieland's a show? I thought it was a
not
movie.
Zombieland, Z Nation. Yeah, I got it mixed up.
Oh.
Zombieland's a great movie. Z Nation, although
never
Zombieland
saw
also
that.
doesn't take itself too seriously, but Z Nation, sorry, is a show on Netflix, and you can watch them all, and I do recommend it. It's a little silly, but they acknowledge that it doesn't take itself too seriously. Because they do you have to as a zombie movie where you do or zombie show where you do some ridiculous stuff. Like the nuclear reactor zombies type crap like that.
Yeah.
But same
If you
story.
want to watch,
I watched
Yeah,
that while doing a Minecraft project, and then years went by before I thought about it, and the new season came out, and by the time it did, I was like, no. I don't know
I'm
any of these
good.
characters anymore. I don't know.
yeah.
Well,
If you want to watch a good like zombie movie, there's like this one show or movie in Spanish.
Uh-oh.
If that's okay.
That's a pass.
It's called Wreck, and yeah, I mean the subtitles are in English, so you can
I just
watch
imagine
those
Barry freaking out.
if you're
in
okay
chat,
with
like,
subtitles.
I'm
But it is
not.
actually very good.
Oh,
It's
I
a
hate
very
it.
good movie.
I wish I could. If the
Yeah.
subtitles don't match the lips, I'm like, no, it's got to
I
be
can-
recorded in English for
I can
me.
deal with the subtitles not matching the lips. I hate so like we know I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I have like my Spanglish. I know a couple words. If
Yeah.
the translation isn't right, like if it's a phrase I understand and the translation isn't right, I'm going to lose my mind.
You have
haven't
no
encountered
idea
that too
how
much,
often I
but-
watch everything with subtitles on. You have no idea
Yeah.
how often I see really
Yeah,
badly
same.
written subtitles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. Even if it's in English, it's in
People
English.
say some shit in English and the subtitles in English, but it's the wrong set of words.
Yeah.
And I'm like, excuse me,
Yeah.
you're confusing me.
Yeah. It's like that doesn't even make sense in the context. What are you doing? Yeah.
Wow. I was gonna say I haven't seen bad subtitles in a while, but like 12 out of the no. No, I think it was I think 11 out of the last 15 movies I've seen were Star Wars, so those are pretty refined
Yeah.
at that point.
For me, I would prefer something that's in another language and has subtitles versus something that's just English dubbed. I hate English dubs.
I can't
I
do
would-
It depends
Yeah.
if I'm just watching something or if I'm I'm almost
yeah,
always
yeah.
multitasking. So I need it to be dubbed. Because I'm sure no
more
one
listening
noticed
than
that I'm
anything.
severely ADHD and I'm constantly fidgeting
like
and doing other
multitasking.
things.
No, you
Yeah.
know.
Right. I know. Who'd have thunk it? I am so focused all the time. But yeah, so I'm terrible. I prefer dubbed so that I can just
Yeah.
be like la 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 and still understand what's going on.
Hmm.
And the only
That works.
time I'm only watching TV is when I'm in bed. And then I don't have my glasses on. And so I can't fucking read because I can't read without my
Yeah.
glasses on.
Yeah.
My glasses.
I
I-
use subtitles
Need
as like a
some bad
guideline.
glasses.
Oh,
I
I,
need
I know
to-
I've told you guys, but I mean, like I don't have trouble hearing so much as I have trouble hearing things through the background audio.
Mhm.
Like when there's
yeah.
other noises going on or background music or whatever, I lose things in that audio, and it
Makes
drives
sense.
me insane trying to keep up with what's being said. You know, I don't read the subtitles constantly, but it's nice to have them there to
Yeah.
ignore.
All I'm thinking of is Nate from The Office. Because he said that when things are too loud and there's a lot going on, he can't discern like specific voices. And he explained it like twice at the worst timing. And he's in the middle of like a conversation with Daryl, and he's like, "Oh, by the way,
Mhm.
Yeah.
is this a bad time?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, it is. We didn't need
That's
that right
funny.
now." No, I use them as a
I
guideline.
understand that. I get audio
all the time.
overstimulation really
Yeah.
easily. So I look like a crazy person sometimes. So like if I'm by
Sometimes?
myself, if I'm by myself somewhere, like no one went with me, I'm not meeting up with someone. So if I'm like walking around the mall, I have headphones in so
Mhm.
that I can control what I'm hearing because all the different stores are playing different music and like all the people are talking, but it has nothing to do with me. And like,
Yeah.
there's just too much going on. So I'll wear like my noise canceling beats and I'm like, all right, I'm shopping. And I'll dance and like sing along to my songs too. So I look 100% not right in the head, which I'm not. So it's fine. Then I don't get bugged.
Oh, do you only use the left
Beast, you're
headphone?
picking her up, or is it because you moved your microphone? Yeah,
What?
probably. Your mic was picking her up
Mm.
for a minute. I think it was because you had moved it when you were opening your curtains.
Mother Goose switched sides. Now she's looking to the left.
Oh.
To the left, to the left.
Yeah.
No, I've
watched
been turning subtitles on forever now, and it's weird because especially with Star Wars and other stuff like that, weird words get introduced all the time, unique names, and it's easy to follow
Mhm.
along. What I also
I
like
especially need it for names.
is when they hang on screen for a bit, I can shift my attention and then come back and see everything that was just said. I like that kind of thing. And I seem to
sense.
misunderstand stuff way more often than I'd like to, where somebody says a thing and then I thought they said
Yeah.
one thing. Like, was that a name or a place or was it a word? I don't know. And very often
it's also
one of them.
It's also really helpful when they're speaking English or at least what's close to English, but in such a thick accent or dialect or something that you're just like, what the hell did he say? Like, you guys seen the movie Snatch? There's that whole scene with the gypsies, the pikeys that are selling a caravan, and they're talking
I
to
think I
him.
know what you mean. Yeah.
And Brad Pitt is the character that he's talking, and he says his mother is very partial to the color periwinkle blue, but he says my man's kind of partial to periwinkle blue, and you're like, what the hell did he just say?
Yeah.
It's just such a thick, pikey accent that it was just like, wow, okay, can't understand anything he says, you know. But yeah, they're super helpful there. Or like, and I bring this one up every time we ever talk about it, is in the movie like Transformers. When Optimus Prime is talking, I can't understand him. Not at all.
It's like a just modem dialing up or something.
Yeah, just a robotic garble, and I'm like, I don't know. And also just the sounds of the Transformers in the background happening just kill anybody else's voice for me. Like I can't hear Shia LaBeouf over them moving.
You know? It feels like movies especially were designed with those loud ass theater speakers in mind. So watching them years after the fact at home, a lot of times dialogue is super quiet. You can barely understand.
It kind of expects you to have like a giant massive home theater with a giant massive sound system. And if you don't have that, then you're gonna miss some things.
And it's nice to
and I recently just installed a little sound bar into my bedroom TV, and it finally sounds okay enough to listen to without subtitles, even though I still will. So
I commandeered a soundbar.
Oh no,
from upstairs. And then okay, here's the deal. My mom and dad took over a month without setting that soundbar up, and I'm like, okay, this is mine now. And nobody stopped me. Because I'm like, clearly... Well, he downgraded his TV. He went from a 55-inch down to a 42 just because it fit better in the space, and he's preferred it since. I'm like, Dad...
Wait, is he closer to the TV now?
He is not.
Or...
I think he's further away
But there's a cubby hole, and it fits right into the cubby hole.
Oh, well, that's kind of perfect.
Yeah.
It's oddly satisfying is what it's called.
Basically.
I can get that part, but...
They're not bothered by it. They're watching regular TV shows and the news.
So I took the sound bar because I am bothered by it,
playing the wheel on it.
And I've enjoyed it since. And it's just wild to me because you can see the standards in TV consumption upstairs compared to my room, and they're sitting like 12 feet away from a 42-incher, and I'm 10 feet away from a 55-incher. Like, I'm like, how is this? With where my dad sits sometimes, like, you might as well just hold a phone up. Like that's not better.
Yeah.
But they're not that serious, so yeah, I commandeered the soundbar and nobody ever stopped me. And it's great. I highly recommend it. If you guys, you don't even need a good one, I don't think. This was like a Black Friday deal. Just I don't even know, Samsung one or whatever.
Well,
I think generally mine I got from my friends that he didn't understand how to install it, so I helped him install his new soundbar that he got because he couldn't understand how to install the old one, and I got a free soundbar that I figured out both of them with. So it worked out.
I've been doing the headphone thing, like, because I have wireless headphones, so I can get up and go, sit back here on the bed and lay in the bed and watch TV with the headphones on if I want to.
Yeah.
But recently, I fixed the problem I had where I didn't have Bluetooth in my computer, and I don't know. The other night I pulled this old Bluetooth speaker, this thing. And this was like $20 at Walmart on sale like years ago or something. It's a little Sylvania speaker, but I pulled that thing out and connected it to my computer through Bluetooth, and I was like, "Oh, this is nice," and just set it on the right at the head of the bed, and I can hear it fine without it having to be loud, and I don't have to like try and sleep with headphones on or try and get comfortable anyway and fall asleep with headphones on. I mean,
so I don't know if my computer has Bluetooth. I should figure that out. That sounds kind of nice, actually.
Did you build it, or is it a pre-built?
I built it, and I could probably install a little PCIe card or something.
Yeah. When we were building the computer, I put in the Wi-Fi card, and at the time it was like, well, for Bluetooth, it's going to be what, $10 more or something like that.
Mhm.
And it was just like, that's not a necessity. And then after a while, yeah, I kind of need it, kind of want it. It's nice for me to be able to transfer stuff from my phone and
Yeah.
to be able to connect to it and stuff like that. It also turns out that I needed that to be able to connect the Amazon Echo to it.
Oh,
And yeah,
neat.
I can use
Yeah, I
that.
might do that
I can
eventually
use
then.
that as a soundbar speaker kind of thing.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
using my Bluetooth headphones like all the time at work, and I've just been like listening to audiobooks and various other stuff for 8 hours all day, and
That's
it's super
another
nice.
option. Yeah. That's another option, is these little Bluetooth earbuds that I could connect to my computer if I wanted to, instead of having
Yeah.
a full-on headset. I could do that if I wanted to. Yeah. So those are nice options.
It's
Yeah.
been fun watching the different endpoints Sig and I arrive at. The little intricacies that are and aren't necessary. All these things he
Yeah.
gets where I'm just like, I can't relate, but I'm glad you're happy.
Well, you also can do the speaker thing like you're doing and not worry about what is said or how loud you're playing it or whatever, because there's no one downstairs to hear it.
I worked up to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also,
helps.
me sitting where I am, I can hear your parents talking in the living room right there, like through that wall.
No, but
They're
even then, I
talking about
just
you like a lot.
used headphones. Like, I never cared too much. Although, when I wasn't on my main PC, I think I was
Yeah.
on speakers forever, and their bedroom was like right behind my head. So I didn't watch anything weird on that, but it didn't matter if I was on YouTube or watching a movie or whatever. If it was too loud, I don't miss getting those texts. Oh my god.
Hey, turn it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where I'm going to be moving into at my grandparents' house when we go up north and live on their farm is like kind of in like this giant apartment-sized basement that's completely unfurnished. So I'm going to have to like put in all the insulation, put in
You
the
mean
drywall.
unfinished? You said unfurnished.
Oh, yeah, unfinished and unfurnished. So both of those things.
See, Chad,
I
he's
mean,
gonna act
it's
like
like
he's not looking
used
forward
for...
to this either.
I am actually super looking forward to this,
Okay.
but no, I'm not going to even pretend.
You keep
Does that
so
mean you're
busy
going to
with
be able to
projects.
decide like the layout, the floor plan, like build interior walls and stuff?
Well, it has some interior walls and it has a furnished bathroom, which is super nice. But like the rest of it is like where my extended family like camps out in when they're hanging out during hunting season. So
Gotcha.
that's the primary purpose of the basement. So I'm gonna like put in like proper insulation into the ceiling and like drywall, all that stuff. And yeah, then wire in all the electronics and stuff, and that'll be
You are
kind of fun.
so excited for
Gonna
this
build
project.
a huge fucking bookshelf with like a ladder on the side of it, so you can like
You're
do the
gonna
like
build a
bell
Beauty
thing
and
where
the
you're like,
Beast
"Woo!"
bookshelf,
Yeah.
and I'm so jealous.
It's gonna be amazing.
I saw this picture, I think it was on Reddit, of this office which
I
had
probably
the
saw the
Beauty and the
same thing.
Beast
Yeah.
library type
Yeah.
thing, but it wasn't like as big as obviously. It was like maybe the size of a decent sized living room.
Yeah, and it was like a
told my-
2-story one, or was
Yeah,
it?
yeah, it
Okay.
was 2
Yeah, I know
stories.
what you're talking
And I
about.
told my husband, I was like, if this isn't what my office looks like when you retire, I'm getting a divorce. I'm leaving. Obviously, I'm kidding. Because at that point, we will have been married for 20 years. And at that point, it's cheaper to keep her. So he's might as well just build my library.
Yeah.
Build me the damn library.
So he will. If we build our house when he retires, he'll do that.
Yeah, I like building stuff like that, and it's
Maybe
fun
we'll
for
have
me.
you come build it for us.
At that point in time, I could probably use a commission, so it'll work out. And I'll probably do a friends and family discount, so
Aw.
it'll work
Absolutely.
out.
I think we got one of those when we got our carpet done, because the guy who did it was one of the Pokemon guys, and I'm pretty sure he gave us like a pretty nice slice from what he usually charges, which was cool.
Yeah.
I can just imagine it now. I'm going to be sitting in the middle of the room while he's working, just like chatting. Be like, what are you doing now? What are you doing now?
I will explain everything.
I just
I know
watched.
you will.
I just watched The Dig on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Is it about digging?
It is. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know.
I was losing it. And what happened was it was essentially World War II era. I think they're somewhere in Europe based on the accents. I don't even know if they explained it. They might have. I went over my American head if they said any cities, but they this woman, very wealthy by the looks of it. They don't really explain much. You know, for 2.5 hours, it didn't talk a lot. But she had these mounds in her yard, and then they started digging into it and found a Anglo-Saxon 680 ship, and yeah, and it was based on a true
like
story.
Burial grounds. I was
That's
expecting
what
dead
they thought,
bodies, but
and they
yeah.
probably could have been. Yeah, they spent the whole movie digging up one mound. I'm like, how the fuck did you not? Anyway,
What about the other mounds?
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
I mean,
saying.
maybe they're going for like a season 1, season 2 mound type thing, and for the
Dude,
grand finale, like all the
based on a true
ancient
story, though.
Anglo-Saxon pirates will
So you can
rise
go to
up
the
and-
actual. Oh, actually, no, they did say National British Museum, I think. So you can
Okay.
actually go there and see the treasure that they got from it. They couldn't excavate the ship because that much time under loose soil was essentially just turned into sand.
Yeah.
So they couldn't remove the wood, but very intriguing just to have a ship in your yard. I'm like, where the hell did that even come from?
Yeah.
But anyway, it was interesting. And the whole thing was when they were digging it and they were all in the thick of it, the woman funding it was just in her dress, sitting down, you know. And I mentioned the dress because it's like the least digging clothes attire possible. Sipping her tea,
Yeah.
watching them work. And I'm like, that's totally Donna right now.
No, that's gonna be me while Chriselle is building my library. I'm gonna wear my big floofy
Yes, of
dresses.
course.
I'm gonna pretend I'm Belle.
Mhm.
I'm gonna sit there, read a book
Wearing
while
white
asking you
gloves.
questions.
Yeah.
No, she didn't wear gloves.
I don't know.
Snuggie.
Just trying to be the most uppity.
Snuggie.
Snuggie. Oh yeah, Snuggie.
Yeah. It'll be a fancy snuggie though, like with like embroidery and like
Yeah.
No, it'll just be a
lacy
Snuggie and
snuggie.
it says, I'm a Disney princess on it, and that's all.
It'll be a future snuggie or something.
I'm not a Disney princess. Have you heard how I laugh?
I just
We're
totally
Disney
believe it.
villain.
No, believe it or not, I
You
really
know-
enjoyed the movie, but looking back, I'm like, that. Oh, I was so curious. And they spent more time on, like, the dramas between the characters than they did
I
on.
fucking hate that.
I'm like, you're digging up a fucking Anglo-Saxon Viking ship, and you're not even. And you're talking about how you're poking at the idea that they didn't say it, but her husband was definitely gay, and they think they broke up at the end. And I'm like, I don't care about that. It's not interesting to me. Oh my
I wanna
goodness,
see
you're
the
unhappy in your
termite hit on the
relationship.
boat, God damn it.
Cry me a river. You can use the boat you're digging up. Like, that's what I'm interested in. They don't even show the treasure. I'm like, what the? It's a part.
Oh.
The movie's called The Dig, and they talk more about the people digging. They should have just named it The Diggers. Like, that's not. That's what the movie was about. Like, this is so stupid. Yeah, careful how you say that one, Chet. But it was like, I don't care who is digging this boat. I want to know about the treasure. Like, what did you find?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It did make me want to go to Britain. I kind of want to check out what they found because the movie didn't tell me. Might be booking
Yeah.
a flight.
Well,
Do I
it
have
could
any-
have been just like an elaborate plot on them to get more people to come to their museum.
God,
So
I hope
that's
not.
entirely a
Yeah.
possibility. Which I guess would be cool. I guess I don't know. Maybe. I mean,
No
other
one can travel
companies have
right
done
now.
worse movies to sell their
I'm still
products.
curious how a mound formed because it was like a. the
Well,
boat-
no, sometimes they bury them like that.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
And like that was actually like an ancient burial method is just cover the fucking thing in dirt and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, no, I know, but like the boat was
Funeral
sunken in and
cairn.
it wasn't a very complicated boat, so I'm like, they had to add dirt to get a mound of that size.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, it was probably likely that it was like a bunch of people died at sea, so they just buried a boat there. So
Yeah,
That's
it was
what
like
they
a
said.
cursed boat because
yeah.
so many fucking people died.
I think it was a well alluded to that there was a river nearby. Either way, British Museum is a great place to visit. All the things they stole from all over the
Well,
world
I
neatly
mean-
collected in one place.
Yeah, that's true.
True.
Cova, settle down.
Every now and then, the British will like give a country
So
their
charitable.
stuff back.
Yeah.
It's not stealing, it's claiming.
I started rewatching The Mandalorian, and I recently got to that scene where they stripped his ship, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Trade for it. That's mine. You stole it." And they just laugh at him.
I love that show so much.
I gotta say, like I said many times, I fell asleep 3 or 4 times getting through the first 2 episodes. But watching it back last night, I'm like, I got to episode 3 and was like, what? I'm already in new territory. None of this is ringing a bell. And I think
Yeah.
it's because I was playing a lot of Pokemon during it this time around. I'm like, yeah, this is moving.
That's probably why.
This is moving at a pace better. I was actually paying attention
Yeah.
too. Because I remember the scene where he's like at night kneeling down repairing something with Baby Yoda doing whatever. And I remember that taking like forever mentally the first time I watched it. But second time through, I'm like, that breezed by. Like, he said it'd take days to fix his ship, and then I glanced back up and they're done. I'm like, oh.
You probably had like a micro nap or something.
Maybe. I don't know.
I do that.
But I feel like I'm following
that.
better. Again, because of subtitles, and it's the second viewing, so I'm a little more up to date. And I'm just noticing now that his helmet is like the same as the Fett's, and I'm like, oh. Or at least it looks the same to me. I haven't really done a side by side.
It's similar.
They're bounty hunters, yeah?
And that's what I said.
Boba Fett was a Mandalorian.
Was he? That was never explained in the main movies, was it?
Yeah.
I think it was probably explained in some obscure
I think it was
thing.
briefly said that he specifically was
From
a
Mandalore.
Mandalorian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, if they mentioned that,
Somewhere.
it was like in passing once.
Well,
'cause-
it's Django.
no, I think it was.
Django is from Mandalore.
Well,
Boba
that's-
was his son,
Right.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
was not from Mandalore, but he's Mandalorian.
I mean, I wasn't really looking for him, but didn't Boba get like, other than the fight with Obi-Wan, like barely any screen time in the first 3 movies? Am I
Yes.
nuts?
Yeah.
Because
He didn't get as much as he should have.
Yeah, he should
I
have gotten
barely, because like they in the
Wait, you're talking about Boba or Jango Fett? Because
The
Jango
kid.
Fett. Okay.
Boba.
No, not really.
In the original movie.
Django, like him dying and the kid holding up his helmet on the ground. They build it up like he's some crazy important character later. I'm like, wait, I barely remember seeing you at all.
Django is
that a lot.
important because he's the person they cloned to make the clones
Sure.
for the Clone
Yeah.
Wars.
No, and then
Like,
he
that makes
fought him.
sense.
Boba didn't even fight Obi-Wan, did he? He just was.
Yeah.
Then he got thrown in a pit and died. Like, what the hell is that?
And yeah, and
What
Boba was
that?
I thought Boba was his biological son, but he might have been the first clone that
No,
Django
Boba
kept
was the green
No.
one. That
and
was
raised
the
as
clone.
a son.
He
So the
He wants
son
to? Okay.
is a clone who wasn't accelerated.
Yeah.
He was kept as a child to
And not
raise as a
altered.
son. Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
That's
he
what I thought.
wasn't kept
Okay.
as a child. He was just a literal clone, not an accelerated clone.
No.
So he
yeah,
raised him from a baby. Yeah.
he was
Mhm.
yeah. He was not made into an adult early. He
What
was
a
kept as a
dude.
child.
He's like, you know what? The only thing he asked for, building an entire clone army beyond his other pay,
Yeah.
was
He
wanted a
build
son.
me an exact replica of myself, but as close to me as possible. So minus all the subservient
Would
stuff
not-
they put in.
I would not want to raise myself. I was My sister has a daughter, and she looks exactly like my sister did. She looks like a little clone of my sister, but she has my attitude from when I was younger, and
Oh no.
I cackle. My sister sends me like videos of her like rolling her eyes and like getting sassy, and like all I can do is cackle, and those messages always say, "Come get your niece."
That's
My growing up, my parents had a photograph of my father on like the mantle, and it was just a little, couple inches tall black and white photo
Mhm.
of my father when he was, I think, 12 or 14, somewhere in that age range. And
Yeah.
I look exactly like it. I mean, people came in our house, saw it up there, and was like, "Hey, where'd you get that black and white photo of your son?" And it's like, no, that's his dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, when
I'm in one of those families too.
Everyone thinks me and my dad are brothers or something because we look kind of similar. His hair is actually like a lot thinner than mine. He's got like wispy old lady hair, honestly, but yeah. And also, he's also growing it out. I don't know if I mentioned that, but yeah, it's almost as
We'll
long
tell
as
him to
mine.
put some pigtails in and come in
But-
here too,
yeah,
so he can match
he
us.
might. He might.
We have photos of my dad and his dad at similar ages, and they look identical, like you wouldn't be able to
Mhm.
tell. And I've been told multiple times, and I don't even fight him. I agree that I sound exactly like my dad.
Mhm.
A lot of
Well-
the mannerisms got saved as well, which is weird. He and I respond identically, but idiosyncratically to very specific things, and it's very, very strange to hear. Like the yeps
I
and
wouldn't-
okay kind of stuff is exactly what he does, and I hate it.
I wouldn't say you sound exactly like him, not all the time at least. But yeah, there are some things.
I think it's an untrained ear thing. People who don't
It
listen to
is.
us all the time, they can't tell the
Yeah.
difference.
So Judy Garland's daughter is Eliza Minnelli, and if you might not recognize these names.
I
but,
think I
I
do.
do.
Okay, so perfect.
Wizard of Oz?
I
Listen
don't.
to Wizard of Oz. Listen
visited
to
her
them
house.
sing,
Sorry.
and they sound so similar. It is obviously a genetics thing, and then mom probably taught her
Yeah.
how to sing, so she has the same inflections. The first
Mhm.
time I heard Eliza Minnelli sing, I was like, "That's not Judy Garland.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's not Dorothy there. What's
That's just
going
somebody.
on?"
Yeah, that's somebody
'Cause I
very
didn't
close.
I didn't know that Eliza Minnelli was Judy Garland's daughter, and I was like, "Why does she sound exactly like Dorothy? What is going on here?" And I had to look it up, and then I was
They're
like, "Oh,
related.
okay, that's her kid. That makes sense."
Yeah, she was a Minnesota actress. We visited her home.
Yeah.
Kinda
Which
cool.
one?
I don't know, the one.
Judy Garland.
Judy
Judy
Garland.
Garland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
She's from Minnesota.
But we went to
No,
her house, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
she's
living-
not
living
alive
in the
anymore,
house.
apparently.
Oh, I thought
Living
she
in
was
the
like
house with-
there and she
with
brought you
Beast.
tea and cookies or something.
Living in the house with Beast and Dad Beast is there are moments from here and there when you hear someone from the other room, and you think, "Oh yeah, no, that's Beast," and you walk it. Nope, it's totally not.
Yeah.
That happens. But I
Yeah.
mean, to have the two of them standing there and both of them say something, I can tell the difference easily.
Right.
That one's not the other.
I've had situations where my mom thinks it's who is it or whatever, and then she'll see my dad, and I'll go, yeah, and she'll start talking to me, thinking it's him, and I get a kick out of that. So she was
And that's
born.
definitely that's definitely something that you both do exactly the same.
She was born in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, and then died in 1969. So we just missed her. 1969. That's only 47. Wow. She burned bright, huh? She
Yeah. Yeah,
married
it's
for
actually really, really tragic.
sad. Yeah,
She was
spouse was
heavily
Mickey
abused.
Dean's 1969 to 1969. I'm suspecting she wasn't sick or something. What happened there?
There was a lot of drug and alcohol abuse. The studios they worked her to the bone, and they supplied her with cigarettes and drugs and abuse, just to they kind of
Jeez.
kept her complacent to she was a fucking workhorse. They just worked her to the ground.
Yeah,
So
that's fucking sad.
Britney Spears shaved her head. It was the whole same kind of
yeah,
stuff.
and everybody
Well-
laughed about it, and now that we're adults, we're like, she needed help. She didn't
I watched
need
a
what was
video on
happening.
that. There's a New York
Yeah.
Times docu
Yeah,
thing
and they
on
wanted
the
to
Save
keep her way
Britney.
down. Yeah.
That was pretty insightful.
And they
kinda
made so much fucking money off of taking pictures of her when she was having like these shitty fucking
one of the
moments.
one of the paparazzi guys was on that documentary, and he's like, no
Yeah.
I
bullshit,
wish I
a
didn't
really good
know.
headshot, 7 figures. They'd pay $1
Yeah.
million for that photo. And at that point, I'm
It's
like, you
very
know,
exploitative.
I don't love the paparazzi, but I no longer blame you. I mean, you've got literally $1 million worth of a photo, and
If I was a famous person and I knew my
I don't blame
my photos were going for that much, I'd give my little brother a camera. Be like,
Mhm.
get me walking out of the house. Go ahead, sell it. go buy a house. Like,
Yeah, because I think the whole thing was.
I remember hearing a thing about somebody trying to break the paparazzi thing by flooding the media with pictures of themselves, so that you
not
don't
worth
have any.
anything.
Yeah,
I think
so the photos aren't
what's
worth
his name? Harry Potter's actor Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah, apparently like he wore the same exact set of clothes
So that his photos
for
were
like
worth
a
shit.
year.
Yeah,
Which is
every time he
go out
left
of
the
the
house,
same
he had on
t-shirt and
Yeah.
shorts, ball cap.
I do that on accident. I wear my I Disagree hoodie almost all the time, and I have one pair of cargo shorts that I like to wear, but I only wear it for like Pokemon Go events, so it's just always ready to
Someday
go.
you're just gonna get the paparazzi
I
after you.
have
We
quite a
don't
bit
know
of
if it's
clothes.
from 2021 or
Yeah.
2040. So
But I wanted to add that's why she shaved her head. She wasn't insane. She wasn't losing her mind. It was actually a very sound. I want them to stop taking photos of me, so I'm gonna look as
yeah,
not.
No, it wasn't even just the photos. It was, I think it was in that documentary that you watched. The hairstylist that did it for her was like, "Are you sure? Are you
She didn't
sure?"
even want
And
to.
she was
Yeah.
like, "I want people to stop touching my hair. I want people to stop touching me." Because
yeah,
they always did their hair, she was always extensions and this and that, and she said she wanted people to stop touching her. And I understand that. Like, can you think if every day someone was just touching you, whether or not you wanted to, because it was contract?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I don't remember.
you have a bubble. If you come within the bubble, you're getting hit. That's just how this works.
But anyway, if pieces problems with paparazzi, nobody's taking pictures of me like that I know of. But
Yeah,
I've never liked the idea of
That I know of.
paparazzi. It was always, does that still happen? I don't even know.
Oh yeah.
I
Paparazzi
imagine
stuff,
it
yeah.
does in
It's
certain
slowed down because of
circumstances.
COVID, but it's still a thing.
Yeah,
I've always thought of tabloids as like the bottom of the barrel when it comes to magazine entertainment.
yeah.
So does
But I
everyone
mean,
else.
if it sells those weird little magazines next to checkout lanes,
I feel like
then
it's not as popular as it used to be.
Yeah.
I feel
it's
like
the internet.
us millennials are kind of killed it
Although
a
if
little
you-
bit because we're
Yeah.
just not
If you
as
swipe
into
left
it.
on Snapchat, you'll see the worst of it.
Right.
Let me get an example. Live. Let's see. What kind of bullshit do they got going on now? Let me see. Swipe left.
I didn't even know
Insider. This
Snapchat had
sandwich
this
has all
feature.
your... Oh, her 3-year body transformation. And then... Wow, some of this doesn't...
Well, Chriselle, you know when you swipe over and you can see like your friends' stories?
Okay, let's check it out.
A serious message from Mia Khalifa. And then she looks very surprised. A strongest couple on the beach. And then there's a lady and a guy fighting or something. Can Ariana Grande replace Nick Jonas? I couldn't care less.
Okay, we've got her 3-year body transformation.
That's what I saw.
And we have
Mm-hmm.
discover
trash.
your what? Okay, and then we have mashed the Legend of Zelda love triangle.
Okay, stop giving him
And
the good
then-
stuff. Why did they give me the crap?
Okay, I saw the Maya Khalifa one. Kevin Hart, he's cool.
It's all the
What
same
else?
trash.
What else?
Every bit. I see a
Yeah.
cat walking back and forth back there.
You know,
at
I'm
your
gonna find
camera,
this
Chris.
just for the people watching. There's a Drew Gooden video where he.
Styled leg hair.
I
That's a
like
good one.
Drew Gooden stuff. He's quite funny sometimes, and he had a whole video. Literally, Snapchat is so dumb. This is a 21-minute
Road
video.
work ahead. Well, I better hope so.
No, I sure hope it does. He has that
Well, I
as
sure
like
hope it does.
that is the guy. So if you've seen the road work ahead, you'd probably like his entire YouTube channel because it's that kind of humor.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, his whole video isn't even coy. Snapchat is so dumb. That's the whole
Yeah.
the whole video. And it's
He's perfect for that sort of like dealing with the dumb fuck side of like corporate media and shit, and like talking about like all this little trendy fellow kids type stuff.
and Snapchat's perfect for it. It's the most impressionable. It's the youth at their dumbest
Yeah.
stage are usually the people who are even clicking on that on Snapchat. And that's what I think tabloids are for, are just preteens who just don't know what the hell
It's
they're
pretty
clicking on.
exploitative.
Because even as
So
a
I
kid,
just-
I feel like I was pretty ahead of the curve even as a child. Even when I got at a certain age, I gave a shit who dated who. Briefly, but I did. It happened to me. And then I grew up like 5 minutes later and was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard
So
of.
I just got a DM from somebody sending me a headshot of the guy from American Gods. Did you see the show American Gods?
No.
I haven't.
Well, they asked me if this was you, Beast. This
You
is
know,
the technology god from American Gods. I remember the guy. I know who it is, and that's not.
I mean, I would probably say that guy live streams and
he's
Oh.
got the
probably
same
plays
jaw,
Fortnite. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the jaw and the cheeks.
a little more forehead.
Yeah.
does have a
He
little-
has.
If you put
You
gel
have a
in your
forehead. He
hair,
has a 5.
My eyes are much cuter.
oh my god, I'm out.
Similar nose.
I'm tapping out. I'm done.
You can't. I have the bluest eyes. It's always the girls who are like, "Oh my god, your eyes," and I'm like,
Maybe I'm not impressed because my husband has bright blue eyes, and so I'm just like, you.
Mine are just
No.
like grayish blue, and that's it. They're
All
not
of
that
you
exciting.
have blue eyes except for me. You guys
Whoa.
are like
Yeah.
my siblings. All my siblings
this
have
is- I
colored
mean-
eyes for me, but I mean besides me. And then I have these eyes
Hey,
that are
it's me
so
with a
dark.
ponytail.
They look black.
It happened like more than you'd think in high school, even where like a girl would get the right look. The sunlight would finally hit it, and she'd be like, "Oh my god, your eyes!" I'm like,
My wife likes the
Thanks.
color of my eyes, and that's
recessive
That's
gene,
what I
by the
care
way. I'm
about.
shocked that we even have blue-eyed people anymore.
that's how genes work. It's a
We were
percentage.
having, me and my husband were having like a really serious conversation. He was upset about something, and so his eyes were all big, and I was like, "Your eyes are so pretty."
That happened in my Pokemon videos, I think, because I was looking at the camera too, and I think Natalie dropped a message about that once. Where like, because I looked into the camera with a well-lit room, they're like, "Oh my god," but no, yeah, so
you
I
do
think
that-
both of your
that's why,
parents,
Thing where you get real close to the camera and make Iron uncomfortable.
yes,
Yeah, that's what I do. I think that's my eyes are so dark. That's why it makes people uncomfortable when I look into the camera.
Yes, that's why.
In high school, I was asked a lot if I was wearing black contacts.
It's because we can see the demon in you.
right. It wasn't really the blackness; it was the fire.
Yeah.
That's what did it for me.
A fire glowing behind me around my feet.
Yeah, I'm pretty
the
sure you
What did
void
you say?
succumbs to all.
need 2 blue-eyed parents, and it's
No, my
No, you
parents
don't.
don't
No, you don't.
have blue eyes at all.
Mm-mm.
well, then that class in high school lied to me.
My sister, that's just an approximation.
Yeah.
Nothing is as cut as dry as they try to say it is. So when people are like, "Oh, I'm a quarter this, I'm a this," that's just an approximation. Not everyone gets equal amounts of those nationalities from their parents. So like
Yeah.
I only got like 8% Portuguese from my mom. And my sister, we have the same mom, just different dads. Her dad isn't Portuguese at all. She got like 13%.
Yeah.
So it
So-
stands out more. Yeah.
Right. It's I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a huge variance when you
Yeah.
look at it. And then like I have almost 29% Chinese, and my brother has like 24% Chinese.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think you did, Raul. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's always just an approximation, and you never really know.
Well, yeah, that's when people are like, "I'm a quarter this, I'm a quarter that." Well, that's not what your DNA is going to show.
Yeah,
I
well,
noticed
I mean,
I never
And so
seem
that's what
to
I mean, like the eye
notice
color. Go
people's
ahead,
eye
sir.
colors. That's like 3 things that people always talk about that I never notice are shoes, what's on your shirt, and eyes. It just doesn't happen. And I think that's all the gaming as a kid. I've spent all of my life not looking at the
that's right.
person I'm talking to, so eye contact doesn't even come naturally to me. I just don't do it.
eye contact comes naturally to me, but at the same time, I don't focus on what color your eyes are. If we hadn't been talking about this and you just asked me what color any of you three's eyes are, I wouldn't have been able to tell you. I don't fucking know.
I think I notice eye colors a lot because my whole life have been so butthurt about eye colors because so I have 5 siblings, right? There's 6 of us. I have 5 siblings. Every single one of them have colored eyes.
Yeah.
My one of my sisters, one of my brothers, blue eyes. My other sister, green eyes. And then two of my brothers have hazel, which is like a bluish greenish
Hmm.
muddy color eye. And then there's me with eyes so dark they pierce your soul. And I'm like, what the fuck, guys? What the fuck? All
And see,
right, like,
my father has the same blue I do. I know
mhm,
that because that was always what it was called was, oh, you got that from your dad, because my mother apparently has hazel or something,
Yeah.
or green. I don't remember. But I know one of my siblings has the blue and one of my siblings has the like green or hazel or whatever.
Yeah,
But
my
I couldn't
brother and
tell
I,
you which.
we are both left-handed. We're both blue-eyed. I think he has brown hair, and mine is more blonde than his is. Um, and yeah, we almost look like twins, but he's a little taller than me, even though he's my younger brother. But yeah, I mean, people always compare us and like think we're twins or some shit. And
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, my parents, they're not left-handed, and they don't have blue eyes, and they don't have blondish hair. So
mhm.
yeah.
So being left-handed, how many injuries have you had at the usage of right-handed tools and items?
I could go on for a while about that actually. Like, I mean, I have to have special things just so that my scissors are made for me and not.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
go down to Flanders's Leftorium and
Yeah,
pick
and
up.
I
Yeah,
wish there was a thing, those Flanders' Leftorium.
Watch
But
a
like,
there
video.
is. It's a
that'd be so
website.
nice. It is? What?
There is definitely a left-handed people's website.
Oh, Leftorium.
I don't know if it's called the Leftorium, but I know that
If it's not, then I'm gonna be mad.
if it's not, they're doing something wrong.
Okay.
I can't remember because I watched a video on. It popped up on like,
Oh,
why
that's cute.
why humans are so dominantly right-handed or something, or yeah, the
Mhm.
Eon's
Yeah.
video on how humans became right-handed, and I can't remember if regular primates have a dominant hand or don't. I just remember it being unique.
I think certain mammals do, and yeah, I'm not sure though.
Now I want to go to the zoo.
Get you a Leftorium T-shirt.
Because either way, they said that, like, I cannot remember if everything was ambidextrous or if everything used their right hand, but they said that it was interesting that humans have a dominant hand at all, or at least the right hand, because normally it got phased out to have 10% of the species be not like the rest, but they said that there must be some evolutionary advantage, even if we don't understand it yet, because otherwise that would have not got passed along, because it didn't everywhere else. And I thought that was interesting. But I don't know. It's kind of interesting, and I hate that I don't remember because it's kind of like the most important part. But they noticed, like in cave paintings as well throughout that video, where almost every hand on the wall clearly was a left hand getting drawn by the supposedly dominant right hand. So like this is not new. Right-handedness
Yeah.
is like the thing for humans. But
Mhm.
Well, it's
and
always
we
like a
don't know why.
10% of people are always left-handed, and that's just how it is.
I
That
just thought it was...
spans everything. So
Yeah.
This is the tough thing about videos is I can't just skim through this on stream. Like I'm
Yeah.
not gonna listen to a 10-minute video just to find one fact, but
yeah, I'll check that out though.
So
kangaroos are mostly left-handed, so that's why they drive on the left side of the road.
That's why the
Before-
kangaroos do that specifically.
before we get to the end of this, I want to make sure I bring it up at least. Rosa, you still have not watched any of the TikToks I've sent you. I'm sure of it.
Donna.
Rosa, how could you?
Because I came across a TikTok of this couple that went to like the local JC Penney or whatever and went and did like a full-on 80s photo shoot thing. You know how families used
Yeah.
to do the photo shoot with like the button-down shirt and the dad shorts, cargo shorts, and the brown belt and the socks and sandals, the whole deal, the
Oh, yeah.
fanny pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, those glamour shots photo shoots from J.C. Penney's back in the 80s. Apparently they went and did this like recently. This is a thing they just did, and I really want to do this. I want to
So
go
it's
do
probably
this
not
so
the same
bad.
video, but I saw pictures like that, and I took them to my husband, and I was like, "We're doing this," and he was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm in."
Yeah, but it made me look like around on the internet for a bit, and I came across some of the most amazing glamour shots photos, like this one here. And
those are great.
I really want to go do one of these silly ass photo shoots.
Take these with
Oh
you.
yeah.
We need to see that.
And I think if I ever come out to California to visit, Rosa, you have
we're doing
to
a
go
whole
do
family
this with
shoot.
me. Yeah.
We're doing a whole family shoot. We're gonna like do like the back to back,
Oh.
like in overalls. We have to be in
Yeah.
overalls.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole deal.
Overalls
Or like
and
backwards
jean
windbreakers
jackets.
so that we can be like crisscross. Yeah, or jean
Yeah.
jackets. Yeah.
Yeah.
The full-on 80s style.
Oh
like,
yeah. Fucking full out.
There's a
I'm
place in the
leopard
mall.
So
bandanas.
There's a whole store in the mall dedicated to like old timey photos.
Yes.
And
And I look at that place every time we walk the mall, and I go, God, I wouldn't ever do that. But the glamour shots thing is hilarious.
no,
Yeah.
we would absolutely do the old timey photos. If you came out, we're gonna find
Yeah.
where to do that. I think there's a place in San Diego we could do it. We're gonna do the 80s. The whole trip is just gonna be like photo shoots of ridiculousness, and then we can use those for the thumbnails.
Those
Yeah.
would be hilarious and
It
awesome.
just surprises
at the
me that they're
same time.
still in business. It's been like 4 years. Like for such a niche
Millennials
thing.
do it for the meme.
The
Okay.
meme is
Yeah.
not
We do
strong
it
enough to
for
keep
the
a store
meme.
alive for 4
Yes,
years.
it is.
I
Apparently,
think you're doubting.
I'm doubting the meme.
The meme.
Like I would totally go and get photos
I
taken
know
with my
that that
cat.
store's
That's
been there
okay.
at
That's
least 4
exactly
years.
what I was thinking, Chriselle. I was like, I know
need
you would
that
do
to
this.
I'm taking my dog and we're putting a little cowboy hat on him. It's going to
Yeah.
And
My dogs
But,
let
like,
me dress them up.
My
They're
cat has
pretty
a
good.
shark
Oh my
costume
God.
we can bring with us.
but based
It's
on
just
the
hard to find costumes for them because
Yeah.
my
well,
dogs are
that's
so
the whole
big.
store is they dress you up in whatever you want to look like. They've got a whole studio, a set, a camera. They'll print it out for you right there for a price.
I'm gonna roll up and I'm gonna be like, I've got my own costume, and be like, what?
And it's
Say
pretty
on.
expensive too.
My corset's coming today.
I remember my dad or someone going up and being like, "Oh, I wonder how much." Oh, okay. No, it wasn't that.
Yeah, they're
interesting.
expensive.
And they have to be because, like I said, it's
Yeah.
such a niche thing, and it's I can't imagine most
Well,
people do it
I
more
mean,
than
one,
once.
it's niche, and then two, they have to get those costumes dry cleaned every now and then.
Oh yeah,
And
Every now and then.
that would be appreciated.
yeah. They probably don't do it as frequently as maybe they should, but they do it pretty
Like in
frequently. They're never
hotels.
like nasty. They're just like a little stale.
Just a little used.
There.
Like if you kept it in
day-old
your
shirt.
trunk of your car for too long.
Now it's in our chat, so you can't say that you didn't want to scroll through all the TikToks I sent you to find it.
Okay.
Now it's there. It's less than a minute long, and I want to do this so bad.
Oh, the mullet.
The full-on mullet was so good. But yeah, I want to
That's
go to
so
the
great.
mall. I want to, or J.C. Penney or whatever, and I want to do the really shitty '80s photos, like fanny
Oh, the
pack and
Birkenstocks.
everything.
I love it.
Yeah.
The socks with sandals is so bad.
She
I love that.
can't keep a straight face, but he's so fucking into it.
Yeah. They're great. They
We're
look like
stuck
fun.
chat because I'm not showing a TikTok on stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just get
Isn't
to
this now?
pretend like it's amazing, probably.
It's okay.
Yeah, I wonder how lefties do. Like, do you just get used to a right-sided mouse? Like,
Yes.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, you just like use it right-handed is what I do.
Yeah.
Also, they make left-handed mice, so if you really want to.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I mean, at a certain point, like, you also have to use other computers, so it's probably better if you just use
Learn to use it with your right hand.
Yeah. Same thing with like hunting rifles or AR.
Oh yeah, because the
yeah.
breach is on the right hand side.
Yeah. So you just either shoot it the way everyone else is, or you just get brass going down your shirt.
That made me think
So,
about
It's very painful.
somebody commented on that
I've had
video
that happen.
that their teacher always called the left-handed kids silver surfers because they'd get pencil marks on their left hand every time.
Oh
they
yeah,
wrote.
yeah, that happens to me a lot.
You know, you talk about the brass down the shirt, and every time I would go shooting, I would purposely wear the highest neck shirt I could wear. Like, I'm talking like fucking turtlenecks, and I'd still somehow manage to get brass down. And I don't know, it was a fucking magic trick. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Makes me think too,
Left-handed
like,
knife.
what would you be WASDing with your right hand then? I mean, your keyboard would be way over to the side.
Yeah, some people, crazy people, use the little
Actual arrow
arrows,
keys?
but
Yeah.
that's stupid.
And that made me think about how, like
So-
in Fortnite, some people would do like ESDF, and I'm like, why are you
Yeah.
doing that guy? Like, what?
I mean,
I've-
I know some lefties they do IJKL, which is weird to me, but it works, I guess.
Well, it still allows for all the buttons around the grouping.
No, but I once
for
looked
other things
with a
so-
critical eye from a competitive viewpoint, ESDF, and I'm like, you're not getting that much. You're just trying to be special. Like, this isn't...
Sometimes, like, people are always like willing to work towards what their preference is, and if that's what they prefer.
I talked to a
for
few
them.
of the ESDF players, and I'm like, you think you're getting an advantage, huh? Huh. Okay. The few that I remember were very full of themselves, you know, like they were, yeah. And I was always opposed to it. I'm like, ESD. I even tried it once, and I'm like, this isn't. I don't need any of these extra keys. What is this for? But the problem is when you go against the grain like that, you need to relearn keys for everything.
Yeah. I mean, I also have this little.
Oh my god, this is way
is
worse than
kinda
ESDF. This guy.
I mean, I
Holy
use
shit.
it with my left hand, as in my left hand is on it. So,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, because I also use a mouse with my right hand, so it's not like it's a left-handed thing specifically.
Mhm.
But
You're
Yeah.
killing me. I can't even with you right now.
I
sorry.
can't even.
It's funny, I say all that, but then, like, I have one of those super fancy ultralight mice, so, like, I don't know. I always do this
Yeah.
where, like, I'll be so opposed to being such an extreme tryhard, but then I do random shit like that, and
Yeah, how
I'll-
dare you?
I always crack myself up.
How very dare?
It's like
Yeah.
I'll go right up to the line, but I refuse to cross it. But then
Hypocrisy.
I'll slip a toe over the line here and there. Yeah, I actually got a 10 keyless keyboard because I kept hitting my mouse on my keyboard, and that's. I remember one time was like the last fucking time I was gonna do that, and that's when I immediately pulled up a tab and bought a keyboard. Like, I'm done. I am done. I just hit my mouse on my keyboard for the last time, and that's like Dvorak. You know, people said that Dvorak is. So the QWERTY keyboard most of us use, at least in America, was specifically designed to slow you down for typewriter use. And there are more efficient keyboards that put all of the keyboard layouts that put all the vowels like in a comfortable to hit range.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But the intricacies in swapping everybody over for what's like a 20% improvement is just not something that's happened. Some people have
It's
swapped. They've
kind
taken.
of along the same line as like the metric system
Yeah.
versus the customary system.
I have caught so much shit from Europeans because, you know, Americans are perfect and, you know, it takes a lot of work for them to really get one over
Obviously.
on us. So, I don't know why they keep coming at us. It's not like I pretend like we're a perfect country. I just know it. So, I don't know. Either way, I've caught a lot of heat with the metric stuff. And I'm like, you pretend like inches and feet don't work. I mean, like, we still measure things. And this shocks people sometimes, but we can use metric too. I know. Our rulers have both sides.
Insane.
Very
It is-
very
yeah.
cool. Very cool, I know.
And actually, one of the funnest scales I like to use is an inch to a millimeter scale when designing things.
Yeah,
It's a fun
I've
scale.
definitely used that length quite a few times in my
Look,
life.
oh, inches.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh,
Oh,
metric.
wonderful.
Oh,
Both
it won't-
sides.
point.
You know, I bet if you
Yeah.
had a metric camera, it'd be focusing better.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't have a big enough. Oh, there we go. So it's got centimeters and millimeters. Woo.
Oh, you're gonna be triggered by your comment, Beast? Oh, 100%. I mean, but he doesn't live in America, so he probably would be triggered. I would understand. He just wishes.
Yeah, he just doesn't like freedom units. It's okay.
I had some fun with him and
Sucks for
hanging
him.
out. Oh my god. So he was talking about, somebody mentioned MP referring to my other podcast, and he was like, "What is MP?" And then I sent him a screenshot of like the list of Minerva podcast episodes. And he's like, aha, could have just said podcast, not a thin, hard to read image. So then I took another screenshot of just the MP and the number, and I'm like, here's an even longer, thinner, harder to read message for being a little bitch about it.
Get your fucking microscope.
Yeah, and he said, your mother has poor table manners. I'm like, speaking of mothers, how's she doing, by the way? I haven't kept up. Because when he was building his PC a long, long time ago, she was like, she made a comment about like, wow, he has a nice way of talking, doesn't he? And he's like, no.
He was like, Nor.
Yeah, pretty much.
No.
And so I've always
Nor.
given shit for it.
So I play D&D every Sunday, and one of my players is Australian, and literally anytime she says no, like I have to stop and go no. No.
They totally add an R.
And then it devolves into us for like
It's
a
a
minute or
silent
two,
R.
just all 6 of us going nar, nar, no.
Tom Scott did a video on
Oh no!
what color his hoodie is, and then he pinned a comment saying, please put your color versus color arguments here. Because he knew the whole video was going to be about that. He wrote it OLOR in the title, but that's probably because of a mostly American audience. Even though he's British himself, spelling it OUR, it's just easier.
Most of YouTube is an American audience.
At this point, I've leaned into the meme for so many years that I just love it. That arrogant, the whole arrogant, ignorant American perspective. I love doing that because it's just funny.
Mhm.
It's easier to lean into it than to be ashamed of my country. Like there's a wrong way, and then there's a right way, and then everybody else. And that's how I read it. Kalawer. I'm like, why do you add a U? That's just more to type. What are we doing here? Whatever. But if you get into the inefficiencies in the English language, you are going down a rabbit hole, friend. It's not worth it, I promise.
Yeah.
It's like the QWERTY keyboard. It might have been designed to slow us down, but once you get the muscle memory, you're going quick enough. I mean, nobody's really...
Yeah.
Oh, and I didn't even finish my point. I've seen a few videos of people who tried Dvorak and gave it like months to get used to it. And they're like, and my final answer is, wasn't worth it. Almost every time. They're like, yep, it is better. I do prefer it. I'm glad I did it. No, I don't recommend it.
My dad uses Dvorak because I feel like in his heart, he truly is a very special boy. And like, that's what he wants to use. And he wants to use Dvorak so he can be a very special boy. So that's what he does. He just uses
every time
Dvorak,
he
and then he
touches
complains
anybody
whenever he
else's
has
computer.
to use. Yes. He complains whenever he has to touch a QWERTY keyboard. He also inverts his mouse on any FPS.
Why?
I'm like that with
flight
monitors.
simulators that he played 20 years ago.
Anytime I sit down anywhere, which is rare, but anytime I see anybody else's screen, I'm like, 60 FPS, we're going to the store right now. I'm buying, we're fixing this. Just give them shit.
Are you buying? Because I mean, I'll take.
You're upgrading, and you're gonna understand why as soon as we get home. Let's go.
Yeah. I think I'm due for a graphics card update, but I don't think that's gonna happen for a while.
Good luck.
Slightly Bitcoined.
Honestly, wishing you good luck.
I think miners are an easy target right now. Like, they're not even the ones. It's just everybody wants cards, gamers and miners alike. And
Oh yeah, because coins have been going crazy lately, cryptocurrency.
What's
So
my
everybody's
portfolio up
buying.
to? This has
Oh,
been
you
a-
need to fucking stop. That's all I have to say.
an expanding
$55,926.
saga. I'm waiting for it to crash. My portfolio is down to $76. Oh my goodness, it crashed. Look at that.
Oh no. What are
Oof.
you gonna do?
It was
That sounds
down
really
to
tragic.
69 nice dollars for 69.96 for about what's that timeline there? An hour. I really did drop a lot. It was up to $86. I should have cashed out. Well, I mean, I've already ridden it out this long.
Yeah,
Ridden it out this
just ride
long.
it
Might
out.
as well.
Yep.
Diamond hands.
Oh no!
No, this is cool though. Even at 76, that's I think that's quintupled. What's 15 times 5? Yeah. So, that's not bad. I mean, that's, you know. It's because to those who don't know, somebody donated like $15 in cryptos like 3 years ago. And I forgot about it until recently. I just forgot. I mean, it's
super funny.
$15 in crypto. I am not worried about it until now, where it's like way up to 76. What on earth, Sig?
I don't know. I just knew Chriselle would love that.
I do
You are
love
still
that.
looking at these glamour shots.
It's my favorite.
It's open
thing
on my
now.
other monitor over here, and I was just like kind of scrolling around, and it's just yet another amazing glamour shot.
Oh, that's perfect.
I was reading about a bunch of Doge people on my Twitter feed who have made like thousands of dollars, but I have to feel, I don't know. Isn't that like illegal what's going on with Doge right now? Like spreading the word and inflating the price for the sole purpose of getting it up to $1. I'm like, that sounds like stock market manipulation, and I'm not an expert, but that sounds
It's not technically the stock market, but it's stupid because they're like betting against themselves because no one else is.
Because
so they're just like, hey,
this is obviously a
join.
meme, and here's what I think. All right, now, I just have to imagine for everybody that buys, anybody who makes money on that, I feel like somebody else had to lose it. So I see these people on Twitter who are raving about their $15,000 overnight. I'm like, well, didn't someone somewhere have to lose $15,000 for you to gain that, or at least they put that much in the system, and you didn't really get that money until you cash out.
Just gambling. That's it.
And it's
what's
alluring.
funny about it is that the stock market for so long has been just controlled by these major hedge funds and these major corporations, and that's why it's such a big deal right now, is because of Reddit. There's a bunch of fucking people between like 18 and 40 who are normal people that are like, if we work together, there's more of us than there is of them, and we can make money like they do. Because they're always like, oh, invest smart and, you know, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and blah, 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 blah. And that's what we're doing. And now they're all butthurt.
No, I have no problem with taking money away from hedge fund billionaires. That's super fun for me, actually. So.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Bitcoin, too, and I feel like because everybody keeps doing it and then relating it back to the US dollar. I'm like, if this is ever going to stand alone as its own currency, we need to stop relating it back to the US, I feel like.
Well, every currency ends up, especially when you're in the US.
Because the United States has a Federal Reserve where it basically controls the value of its own currency.
But I also understand Bitcoin to be like, people mostly get excited about it not because of how much they have, but because of how much they have in US. So everybody, I feel like they're holding on just trying to cash out. There are some markets that allow for Bitcoin as a transaction, but I don't. I'm just waiting for the crash. That's where my head's at. I keep looking at it. I'm thinking there's no way this is going to last forever. Eventually this is going to normalize at a much lower dollar amount, and the ride will be over, folks. But both sides have to agree for a value in exchange. Whether or not it goes up or down after is the gamble. So they're all making money right now until somebody starts cashing out. Because that's like the GameStop thing too. I feel like only an X amount of people can make like profit on that. And the money's got to go somewhere.
Yes.
I don't know. I
Well,
just
But
I
they
just
say that
don't want to ride that wave.
that money only has value because we allow it to. Like it's the same thing with art. Like selling art. If I told you that this drawing I did was worth $1 million, it would be if you bought it for $1 million. Like that's just the way that works. Value is not a real thing. It's intrinsically linked to just what we choose
So
to say it.
this isn't real world stuff, but I was yesterday playing D&D. One of my players was going around to different shops and like shopping for stuff, and then every time he was like, "Oh, can we negotiate that price?" And it was like a poor town, and I'd be like, "Oh, do you have something to barter with?" And he'd be like, "Oh no, I just wanted to negotiate." Well, if you have nothing for me, why would I bring my price down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I just don't like any kind of gambling or even stocks. I feel like to be educated enough in that to make a financial decision where I'm comfortable would take so much of my time that I don't feel like it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I put money into a 401k
Already
and
did.
all that sort of stuff
Locked
because
away.
I don't feel secure in my future generally. But yeah, because nothing's really
good anyway.
and that's just kind
Even
of
if you're on a good track and you're doing well in
situation.
life, all the more reason to invest more into a long-term mutual fund.
Yeah.
That's something
And
you
it's
guys should talk
shitty
to
that
a
it's like
professional
that, and
about.
it shouldn't be like that, but that's how
Yeah.
it is.
I have a
So-
friend who's making good money. That was Jack I was talking to. I was like, "Oh, did you invest in that kind of thing?" He's like, "Yep, got my 401k." And I'm like, good shit. That's what I like to hear. And I like that. I like when people have already heard of that because the sooner you start, the better. And it's nice to know that on top of whatever I'll be earning in my next few decades here, I'll have that as a side quest and
Yeah.
It's a side quest.
doing what it does. And but it's so boring because we're talking on the time scale of decades, so it's not really anything I get to do anything with right now.
I don't generally draw attention to the gentleman's club during streaming or podcasts
Oh,
or
dear.
anything, but one
What
of the
is it
most recent
now?
posts is fucking hilarious.
Oh dear. Do I even want to know?
I don't understand this.
Oh no. Oh no.
Takes me a minute.
Oh, I didn't see the dildo strapped to the fan. That makes sense. She put a dildo on a fan, backed into it, and then she started
Oh,
Fun
spinning.
her.
Instead of the...
It's a very high
fucking-
torque fan, so
Fucking hilarious. Yeah.
See, that's classy right there. That's the kind of grade A humor we like to see around here.
the highest form of art.
I just couldn't contain it. I was like, what the fuck?
Quite a grip, says Radical. Quite a grip.
Oh my.
Oh, God.
Well, okay then.
Every now and then, something will just catch you the right way.
I just like the comments, when people, like on YouTube videos, usually the only thing funnier than the video are the top comments. Or it just expands on it even further.
Yeah, it depends.
Oh, it
But,
totally, but it's quite a grip. It always gives me humor to see somebody responding casually to something ridiculous. It's always like you freak out sometimes where you're like, "What the fuck am I looking at?" And then someone's like, "Yeah, it's about how that goes."
Welcome to the internet.
It's like that guy on South Park. He's like, "Yeah, around these parts." Who is that old guy? I don't remember. I don't know. He's talking to Cartman about something. But
Was he talking about we don't take kindly 8-year-old types around here?
No, it's the old dude who just seems to know everything about everything. Oh, around these parts, we, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I need to watch South Park again. That's another show that I need to find a good way to watch these shows again. I need to get into Minecraft or something.
Yeah.
Bloons is kind of good for that.
Just get into Astroneers with me.
Oh, yeah.
I have that. I might have that game.
You do maybe
I, don't know.
because we said we wanted to play it.
I have the game.
I know
too.
I have it.
Astroneers is one of those games that was definitely gifted to me by somebody, I'm
Someone.
sure. And I
I wish
appreciate
on
it.
gifted games when you went to
I
it in
would
your library,
love
it
to
said
sort
who
by
gave
that.
it to you.
Yeah,
I am in a
I'm sure it's
particularly
somewhere, but it should be easy to get.
Yeah.
To.
I am in a particularly I can't think of the word. I don't know. Strange? Sure. Position where I have a unusual amount of gifted games, but I don't I'm so terrible at following up with that because I don't like to play a game until I'm ready to dive in, and sometimes that just never happens.
Yeah.
So like I mean well, but then I never end up
Yeah.
playing it, and that's just how that goes. So I'd love to sort by gifted and like knock a few of those off my list, but yeah. So I have Astroneers, and I like Tomb Raider, for example. I found that in my inventory and was like, huh,
Found it.
yeah,
Found it in your inventory.
found it. I'm
It
like,
was lost
yeah.
in there.
who sent me that?
Yeah.
Was it a bundle? I didn't buy that.
Probably it was a bundle.
Probably a bundle. I don't know. Because, I don't know. I feel like I'm amassing quite a legendary Steam library. I mean, it was mostly inflated by those stupid bundles we found, but I got like 600 games in there, and
Yeah.
it's stupid how
Well,
often I scroll through it and don't find anything to play. Like, I
Which
could
Tomb
throw-
Raider are we talking about? One
Well,
of the
it's
newest?
The
I don't
Tomb Raider, the first one, I think.
it's
No, there's like 15 different Tomb Raiders.
Oh, I don't know. The newest good one. I don't. Tomb
Yeah,
Raider?
one of the newer ones.
You're not gonna make me launch Steam. I don't.
No, I'm just
Um,
saying you're talking about one that came out within the past 5 years.
It's just
not
called the
from
Tomb
15
Raider.
years
I
ago.
don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
It's the one that
Yeah.
everybody uses for benchmarking. Rise of the Tomb
Okay.
Raider? Is that what we're looking
Yeah,
at?
there's a handful of different ones that are
Oh
recent,
boy,
but
it's like,
yeah.
like Doom, because they just called it Doom 2016. Like that's the best you
Right.
could do. Like you couldn't have given it a name like Doom Eternal.
Yeah,
Okay, that one.
And just like Tomb Raider, the original one came out 20 years ago.
That's dumb.
Oh my god.
But no, I always say like, I get bored not finding new games. I could throw a rock on my Steam library, and
Oh.
kill an hour.
I was
mean-
gonna say that's the problem with having so many games. It's like back when cable was a really big thing. I mean, and I guess even now with all the streaming services, you have a hard time finding something to watch because there are so many things. Back
Yeah.
when there was like, like 20 channels that you could honestly pick from that weren't news, you'd find something and you'd be happy with that. You wouldn't be like, no. You'd be like, it's 5 minutes into this movie. Let's watch it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
think
just
before-
I don't have the time to play any of these games, unfortunately. And
I
when
don't
I do
believe
have time,
you.
I'm tired and have other things to do. So
Not
I don't
not
I don't
falling for it.
remember where it came from, but there was a quote I remember from somebody saying something about back when they used to watch TV and there was only 3 channels. And if the president decided to address the nation, your night was just ruined.
yeah.
'Cause it was
Yeah,
on all
yeah.
3 channels.
Your camera's really blurry, Sig. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. And
give it a little slap.
It-
There you go.
it didn't
fix it.
decide to come back. Fuck it. I'm only going to be here for another couple minutes anyway. I have to get ready to
Same.
leave.
Well, yeah, same.
Yeah, I think it gives me a shorter attention span too. Like if a show doesn't grab me in the first 20 minutes, I'm thinking, damn, did I make the wrong choice? Something else might have grabbed me by now. Like I don't like to stick
Yeah.
with it because there's so much out there, which ironically leads me to not getting through
I kind
anything.
of love shows that are minorly interesting. Oh, hi, hold on. I love shows that are minorly interesting so that I can have them as background noise, but not be super interested in them.
Yeah.
Say hi.
Like I
Clark.
got through a lot of shows when I played Minecraft a lot because Minecraft is the
Yeah.
perfect game to where you can set yourself on a course to where the next 4 to 6 hours or more are just going to be pretty not super grabby grind work. Like placing blocks. Have you ever not used Schematica for a massive floor? You're going to learn about the, square cube law real fucking fast when you fill that thing in. Block, block, block. In our nether perimeters, that'd be like 100,000 sea lanterns. No. Go place by hand, no schematic of printer, 100,000 sea lanterns. I'll wait. I'll see you next week. Like, it's not a fast process. So if you have any hope of doing something like that by hand and you're not like a little numb in the brain, you have to have a show on in the background. I mean, there's got to be something else. There's got to be. And, you know, even like when I did the complex stuff, if I'm following a schematic, I'm not really using my whole brain.
Middle click, place.
Yeah, like a tree farm. I'm not winging that. This is a design. Yeah. This is a schematic. I'm just placing the blocks.
When I'm playing Astroneers, my favorite thing is to be the person who has to dig to the center of the Earth, like, or planet. Like, that's my thing. Everyone else is doing the harder side. And then I like get resources and stuff and bring them back up because plenty of the resources are underground. But like, so while I'm doing that, I'm watching a show and like talking to whoever I'm playing with in Discord. Like,
that I could never do. Watching a show and talking to someone, the show gets on the back burner and I never pay attention. I will lose all the whole plot.
That's why you watch something that's minorly interesting. Something that if you miss a point, you're not going to be like, God damn it. Like, but you're like, oh, all right. Especially if you watch it in Discord with them while you're playing, because we all have multiple monitors. So if you have Discord up and you guys are watching a show together, you can comment on the show together while also doing whatever you're doing.
I always say that's how I got through The Office like 12 times, was I just was doing something that had most of my attention, but The Office was just playing. It fills in the gaps. And that worked out. I mean, especially with Minecraft mining. I mean, that's a resourceful thing to do in the early game, and some people enjoy it, but if that's your entire activity, I mean, no music, nothing else, just crunching blocks. I'm like, that's got to be on par with meditation. That's so little stimulus. So
must have like a really stressful job or something that requires a lot of your concentration for that to be enjoyable. But yeah,
I mean, you need to have a really busy, not Minecraft life for that to be fully stimulating. And I've always considered myself like an adrenaline junkie, or at least a stimulus junkie, I should say, not adrenaline. Where like I got to be doing something.
And it's fun because there's like a lot of different ways you can play that game. So
Sig not so much. He's totally content. Just
you guys talk about all this like having shit going on your second monitor and third monitor and shit like that. I can't do it. When I'm playing Minecraft, I'm playing Minecraft. That's it. Like, if I have a show on, I'm not watching that show. I have no idea what's been going on. You know? Or I stop what I'm doing in the game and I'm watching the show for a little while and then I look over and I'm dying. You know? It's like, what the hell?
That blows me away. Even like Pokemon PvP, which grabs a lot of my attention, I gotta have something in the background.
I don't even like to have music on when I'm playing Minecraft. Like that.
Wow.
Just the Minecraft music. I don't like it.
I love the mic.
It's good music. Don't get that twisted. It's good, but I like being able to hear the monsters. I don't like the monsters.
Yeah.
So but yeah, there's very much something to be said for people who turn on a video game that like games you sound whore in. You know, like actual. Like shoot 'em up, fucking kill each other games where hearing footsteps would be helpful to you. You know, like people who turn on like just crazy heavy metal the whole time and play. Yeah. It's like, how are you doing anything?
They're not.
You know,
by the scores.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
No, I don't know.
Nick Turnus does that a lot. He turns. Oh, and speaking of Nick, he bought another keyboard. You were talking about keyboards earlier, the 10 keyless thing. He bought another keyboard, and his is one of those 10 keyless. The thing is like this big.
Mm-hmm. One of the minis.
He is a giant of a man. He is a monster. He has giant, huge hands.
For those who can't picture
his hand
no
covers
F keys,
the whole keyboard.
No numbers.
I think he's got like a 65% or something.
Some ultra modern ones will even take off the arrow keys. Like it's just the letters, basically.
Stream suit, not in the next couple days. I got to work, and I'm working from like noon to close, basically.
I did
for
that
the
a lot
next
with
couple days.
Call of Duty too, where Call of Duty was like enough of my attention to where I was focused, but not like I could still. There wasn't a story going on, so I was definitely dialed in, but I could throw on a show and focus on both
Makes sense.
fairly well. It uses two different parts of my brain. Like you can't read a book and listen to a TV show. That's too much of one part of the brain. You're not going to get both. You could try and fool yourself, but you're not going to get both. Like I'll quiz you after. And then Minecraft too. I did I'll never forget my favorite week of gaming ever. I was homesick and I played Borderlands while watching The Office, which is a game I know really well. So it was like two of my favorite things for like 5 days straight. I want to say 7, but I don't know what happened on the weekend. And that was like the best of the best because I was homesick, like in my bed, which I never game from bed. I knew I was going to be doing offline gaming for a week, so I brought my Xbox into my room. It was fantastic.
Those were the fun days.
Oh my goodness. But that's kind of something you lose when you start playing on keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
I was in bed, and so there was no way I could have done that through a PC. So
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. Sig's going to work.
Yeah.
I think we should call it. Somebody was asking about channel points, so maybe I should raid someone. So we'll finish the recording here. Any final words?
I got a really cool tattoo, and I don't know if anybody noticed, but me and Chriselle the whole time have had matching pigtails, and
Very
we've just been playing with them. So, but yeah, we haven't mentioned them.
No one said a single word, and
I know.
That was for your
I don't
sake.
think your pigtails were as obvious because you have such luscious hair.
Well. Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm pulling it off.
I'm gonna hold on
for
to
you.
the fact that we
They
have this
look great.
recorded, so that's my evidence that Rosa agreed to do the 80s
Oh,
glamour shots thing
bro,
with me.
you act like I'm not 200% in. I'm gonna go full Cyndi Lauper.
Okay.
Full Cyndi Lauper, like the chunky colored hair and like the fucking tutu over. Like, no, we're ready.
I might have
We're
to get
ready.
a good mullet wig.
Yes, absolutely,
I'll
absolutely.
braid my beard.
Okay, you gotta go to work. Chriselle's tired.
Bye.
Whenever
Brent,
podcast episode
Beast has stuff to
72.
do.
Yeah.